Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. We are 6 weeks into this half Ironman preparation series and I'm 4 weeks into my actual training for the race. We have talked a lot about training so far, but I believe it's time to take a little break from talking about how my training goes because honestly everything is fine, it all goes according to the plan, nothing interesting is happening right now. I'm slowly increasing mileage week by week and trying to keep the intensity down for now. I did 3 swims, 3 bikes, 3 runs, 2 strength trainings, some yoga and stretching last week. In other words, I'm following my plan to the letter. So I think now it's time we talked about the gear and equipment I use instead. There are some essentials or must-have items everyone should own and use when training for any triathlon regardless of the distance, and there are some things that are nice to have but not really essential for your training. Let's see what I think you need for the swim. Well, first of all, we have to separate swimming in the pool from open water swimming. In order to fully prepare for a triathlon, which usually takes place outdoors, you have to practice swimming in both a swimming pool and in open water. Depending on the restrictions in place where you live, swimming pools might not even be an option right now, but if you are one of the lucky ones who have access to a swimming pool, then all you need is a swimsuit, a pair of goggles and a swim cap. At this stage, any decent goggles will do. You only need to consider buying a better one for your open water swims maybe, but more about that in a second. So you have your must-have gear, your swimsuit, your goggles and your swim cap. There are a few other things you might need if you want to do drills and work on your technique, such as a kickboard or a pool buoy. They usually are accessible to anyone in public swimming pools, but it's always better to have one of your own. If you'd like to take your swimming to the next level, then you should invest in a pair of fins, paddles and a snorkel as well, because these are great tools which can help you improve your technique, strength and efficiency in the water. You can easily train without any of these, but they are nice to have. Now, let's move on to open water. The minute you decide you want to swim in the sea or any fresh water, be it a lake or a river, you will need a wetsuit. At first, any cheap wetsuit will do because they all do the job which they were designed to do, and that is keeping you warm and somewhat buoyant in the water. If you are a good swimmer and the water temperature is high enough, then you can get away without a wetsuit of course, but in most cases it is highly recommended to have one for both of your training and racing as well. I mentioned earlier that you might need to upgrade your goggles if you swim outside, so now it's time to tell you why. It's not that your goggles you use in the swimming pool will stop working in open water. In fact, I swam using the same goggles both inside and outside for more than a year, but I recently bought a pair of goggles with a polarized lens, which gives you a better vision in the water, especially in sunny weather. The polarized lens reduces the glare and reflections in the water and the sun won't blind you as much either, so it is worth considering to buy one. Now, I only wish I got this one earlier, so make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I made. And while talking about mistakes, there is another essential piece which should be part of your kit from the get-go, and I only got one recently, and that's a safety buoy. It is not recommended to go out and swim on your own in the first place, but if you have no other choice, at least buy a safety buoy which makes you visible in the water, and it can temporarily help you floating if you feel exhausted or get a cramp or something. And as an extra benefit, you can also carry your phone, your wallet or your car key with you while keeping them dry and secure. So these are the open water must-haves: a wetsuit, goggles and a safety buoy. Now let's see some nice-to-haves. You can buy a body glide to prevent wetsuit chafing, especially in salty water, and there is suit juice which can help you putting the wetsuit on and taking it off, and you might need some sort of a wetsuit shampoo as well, which is supposed to help you keep the wetsuit clean in the long run. We are done with the swim now, moving on to the bike. It's kind of obvious that you will need a bike. But what kind of a bike do you need? It depends on your goals, your budget and your skills, but I would recommend getting a decent road bike instead of a triathlon bike first. Later down the road you can still buy a TT or a triathlon bike, but for beginners a good road bike is more than enough. I bought this Trackmadone carbon road bike second-hand last year, and I plan to do my half Ironman on this bike this year. I only had to buy a set of aero bars, which are kind of essential if you want to get into a more aerodynamic position on the bike. I'm not saying they are a must-have, but they can certainly help. But regardless of what bike you have, you will need some special cycling shoes and clip-in pedals, you will need some cycling shorts or bibs and of course a helmet. If you plan on biking a lot outside on busy roads, you have to buy some lights and high visibility clothing as well. You also better carry a bike repair kit with a spare tube with you all the time, especially on long rides far from your home. If you are stuck inside because of the weather or for any other reason, you will need a turbo trainer which allows you to spin your bike indoors. It can either be a basic resistance trainer or a higher-end smart trainer with Bluetooth and power meter connected to an online training platform such as Zwift or Rouvy, but it all depends on how much money you are willing to spend on each of these essential items. You can easily spend thousands of euros or dollars on your turbo trainer only before even getting a bike, but you can easily stay under $1,000 with a basic trainer, a decent second-hand bike, a helmet, a pair of shoes and some clothing all together. At the end of the day, it is the work and effort you put into your training that matters the most, not so much the gear. But today is gear day, so let's not get distracted. So other than a bike, shoes, clothes, tools and a helmet, nothing is essential. Of course, it's nice to have a bike computer, some speed and cadence sensors, maybe a power meter, and it's even better if you have a Zwift subscription, but you can prepare for your first triathlon without any of these easily. Now, let's finish things off with running gear. First, you will need some proper running shoes. You have to get your feet checked and your gait analyzed to see what shoes fit your feet the best, so please do not just walk in a shoe shop and pick something because you heard they were great shoes. You might end up doing more harm even if you spend 200 euros or dollars on a pair of fancy shoes. Again, get your feet checked and have a professional help you choose the right shoes for you. Other than a good pair of shoes, you don't really need anything else to start running, assuming you have some shorts and shirts already. Sure, you can buy any running specific shorts, shirts, tops, bras, compression socks, water bottles, sunglasses or whatever you think you might need, but this should be only the next step. First, get a pair of good shoes and make running a habit. Then you might want to start spending money on everything else. However, just to contradict myself, I believe there is one thing you will definitely need for all three sports regardless of your fitness level or commitment to triathlon, and that is a smartwatch. I know that buying my first smartwatch made me start running altogether, so I really believe a watch is an essential piece of anyone's kit. A sport watch can track your trainings, you can monitor your performance, your sleep, your diet, and it is very important to keep an eye on all these in order to get the most out of yourself. And why else would you want to do a triathlon if not to prove yourself what you are capable of? Even if you are doing it for fun, you need to know if your body is doing well, and the smartwatch can help you with that. Along with the watch, I would recommend getting a chest heart rate monitor as well, because the built-in wrist-based heart rate monitors are not always 100% accurate, but it's again just a nice to have, while the watch itself is pretty much a must-have. Okay, I guess I went through everything I wanted to talk about today, but please leave a comment below if you think I missed something and it is essential in your opinion. And again, keep in mind that these things are only what I believe to be must-haves or nice-to-haves. Your preferences might be different. Closer to the race itself, I will probably talk a little bit about nutrition, as well as what other gear you might need specifically for a race, but this is it for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, see you next time.